What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a post-Super Bowl Monday morning episode of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt. To follow me on Twitter, this podcast being brought to you by our friends at BetMGM with that promo code JUICE for new users. $1,000 first bet offer for new users with that promo code JUICE at BetMGM.com. All right, I'm not going to rant and rave here. We had a losing day yesterday. It was a losing week, I believe. I got to go and do the accounting, but I think that, I'm pretty confident, but I might be wrong, but I'm pretty confident. Not a big losing week, but a losing week for the first full official week of my return to the Daily Juice podcast. I had a very good postseason, and I wound up for the playoffs, but I did wind up down for the Super Bowl, which isn't totally uncommon. I was awesome last year in the Super Bowl, and I was horrific during the playoffs. 2-2 on our prop bets yesterday. We get the Kelsey number, for yardage over. We get the shortest touchdown to both cash. So we got those two right. The 47-yard field goal did not come in. It was never even a close attempt from a field goal of that distance. And then two players, only Mahomes and Hurts, threw passes in the game. So 2-2. And then I had a plus 1450 exacta on the Eagles over the Chiefs and a 5-1 for the Chiefs over the Eagles. So I didn't lose money on that, but overall, my experiment that I did on my other podcast where I was playing exactas, that actually was a loser. Chiefs got back a little bit, and then I got an in-game play on the Chiefs. I bet both teams at plus 360 because the game was such interesting with swings. I had the Chiefs plus 360 in-game. I have the Eagles plus 360 in-game. Chiefs got there. Eagles obviously did not, but so I won some money coming back with that, but overall it was a losing day for me on the Super Bowl, and I did a little experiment. I'm going to go back to that for the NHL playoffs. Probably not for the NBA, but I might for the NBA. I don't know. It's an interesting strategy. We'll get into it later on in the spring about betting exactas and trying to get the best odds so it doesn't matter who wins. And really, I was going to win regardless of who was going to play, and that, I just kind of added onto the pile in the stack. But, that parlay, that teaser I did not come in. Chiefs plus 7.5. I really liked the under. I was dead wrong. The under was a bad bet. Everybody was on the over. At one point, I was told last night that the South Point here in Vegas was accepting a $100,000 wagering if you wanted to come in and bet $100K on the under, which is somewhat unheard of in Vegas. You normally don't see those types of bets, but they were like six-figure wagers on the under. Anybody won it, and nobody was betting it. It was all over money. Game flew over. But that game is going to be remembered for the call that happened at the end of regulation. And we could have had overtime. We could have had an incredible drive where the game was decided on the field, and unfortunately, that game got awarded to the Chiefs by a flag on a ticky-tack call. Was it holding? Sure. Did the players all say it was holding after the game? Sure. Doesn't mean the call should have been made. Precedent says that call should not have been made. We have seen it for years in sports that call should not have been made. And I would have rather have seen us have, a 3-point lead for the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes on the sidelines watching Jalen Hurts and see if Jalen Hurts could go kick a field goal, tie the game, go to overtime, and maybe we get an amazing game. My most memorable Super Bowls are always either crazy come from behind wins or amazing moments, right? The David Tyree helmet catch, the Patriots down 28-3, just unbelievable moments in a Super Bowl where the players decide it. And that's not what happened last night. It sucks. There's no way around that. It just stinks. And so congrats to the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no debating it. He's, him and Andy Reid are an incredible combination. Brady and Belichick were an incredible combination. We'll see what happens, when they're done. They're nowhere near done. I don't use the word dynasty until we talk about a team winning 3 championships in 4 years. The Chiefs are on their way. They've got 2 rings, but long way to go in my mind to get to the dynasty world here. A lot of teams have won 2. Broncos won back-to-back and, didn't get to the dynasty. So I'm not there yet, but KC is a very, very formidable opponent for here on out in the AFC West. You got one team that's owning it, and they're going to be very tough to deal with. The AFC is going to have a very tough team to deal with, even without Tyreek Hill. They went and won the Super Bowl. It says a lot about the upper management for the Chiefs, Mahomes, and what they can do together, what Reid and Mahomes can do together. But, AFC is not going to be easy. Bengals aren't going anywhere. Bills aren't going anywhere. And there's new talent coming into the league every single year. So congrats to Jalen Hurts. Played his tail off. That fumble was huge, really costly. That was the difference in the game in a lot of ways. But, in the second half, it was all Chiefs. In the first half, it was all Eagles. So, Eagles first half was a pretty good bet. We talked about it all week from Radio Row. But congrats to the Chiefs. So what happens here? We turn the page. And it's a great time for you guys if you're looking to reassess your bankroll, reassess your unit size, and just take a look at how you're going to bet, because premium from BettingPros is a very cool way to do this. Now, we are giving away a year of BettingPros premium when you subscribe to this BettingPros YouTube channel and comment on this video below. When you do that, you could win a free upgrade to BettingPros Premium, whether you're looking for access to exclusive picks, top-rated player props, or custom analysis on your betting performances. BettingPros Premium has got the tools to help you cash more bets. It's just that simple. You don't want to wait for the giveaway. Sign up today at bettingpros.com/chat and start betting smarter, not harder. Okay, so I'm going to have some fun today. It's a Monday. I'm not going to go too crazy. The NHL, I've been cold in the NHL, so I'm going to do something differently here today. And I'm going to hopefully bank on some goaltending here today. I've got a couple of plus money bets at a half a unit that I'm going to throw in the first period, and then I have a college basketball play that I want to give you. So let's start in the NHL. It's a smaller slate in the NHL coming up here today, but I like betting hockey a lot. The All-Star break has kind of thrown a wrench in things. But let's talk about first period unders, okay? First period unders, I've been playing first period overs, but there's been some lack of offense since these guys have come off holiday, if you will, off of their vacations. Legs are a little soft, not great. But the Arizona Coyotes right now are 1-9 over their last 10 games to a first period over. That's hitting at just 10%. They're on the road against Nashville. Now, Nashville, Saros is going to be in net for the Preds. The total of this game is 6, so the books are kind of shading it a little bit, saying, okay, maybe not a high-scoring game. Nashville, first period, they're 6-4 over their last 10, 55% for them, but they're an offense that is somewhat challenged. They don't score a ton of goals. And if we can get just one goal to be scored here in this game, this is what we're going to be looking for here. Nashville needs to step up, needs Saros to play well. He has a decent goals against average on the season with 2.73. He's a pretty good goaltender at home with a 2.64 goals against average. So you got to need him to play strong. Coyotes are 6-20-6 on the road. They're bad on the road, and they've been getting beat up as well. They've lost their last 2 road games, 4-3 and 6-5. You might go, Matt, just bet the over. I don't know. Preds won 2-1 on the road in their last game, and they lost 5-1 at home in the game before that after the All-Star break against the Vegas Golden Knights. They got completely skunked by Vegas. So I'm a little concerned about backing Nashville. Let's go with under 1.5 goals between the Coyotes and the Predators here. And what's fun about these bets is that you're getting plus money. It's plus 110, okay, on under 1.5 goals for the Coyotes and the Predators. We only need to hit one of these, by the way. Half a unit, flat half unit play on the Coyotes and the Preds, under 1.5 goals in the first period for a half a unit. Now, for the other half a unit, we're going to go and take a look at, and this might be a little bit scary for some people, but I think it's a decent play just given what we have seen out of the Minnesota Wild. The Wild are on a run here when it comes to first period unders. Their record so far right here, first period unders, they are 11 and they are what's that number? First period overs. There we go. So to the under, they are 11-4 to no goals in the first 10 minutes, 11-4. So they're not giving up goals early. And they are 13-2 over their last 15 for under 1.5 goals in the first 10 minutes. That's the best right now in the NHL. You talk about just teams that do not give up goals. They're the lowest scoring team and giving up team in the first period in the NHL now, with a record of 21-51. 21 times in 51 games. 21 times in 51 games. That's 41%. They're 1-9 over the last 10 games for the Minnesota Wild. It's plus 140 because of Florida. Because of Florida's offense. And what Florida's capable of doing offensively, they can score and score a bunch of goals. But the hope is that Florida is going to be kept in check here. The goaltender for the game tonight, this worries me a little bit, but Gustafsson looked really good in the last game. Bobrovsky is very good for Florida. We just need one goal. A 1-0 mark is fine. It's plus 140 for under 1.5 goals in the first period. I'm going to jump on a half a unit here and ride the Wild and ride the Anaheim Ducks for unders. Sorry, the Coyotes, the Arizona Coyotes. Take two teams that do not score in the first period and have not scored in the first period all that much. It's a difficult thing when you look at Arizona, 1-9 over the last 10, Minnesota 1-9 in the last 10. Because the All-Star break has broken it up. So these numbers a lot of the games are being played before the All-Star break, but let's just hope these numbers hold with Arizona and Minnesota. Both teams are ice. Under 1.5 goals at plus 140 for Minnesota and Florida, and under 1.5 goals in the first period, half a unit for the Coyotes and the Predators. All right, one full unit college basketball play to get into, and it's Miami at North Carolina. So KenPom has this as a 3-point win for North Carolina. But when you start breaking down the numbers here, it's pretty interesting. Miami's been phenomenal on the road this year. They're 8-3 ATS on the road. They are 11-4 in the ACC so far this season. 15-10 overall. North Carolina is 8-15-2 ATS. And they're 6-6 at home. Over the last 5 games, they're 1-3-1, and in the ACC, North Carolina is 5-8-1. The number is 4.5 here. So KenPom has it as a 3-point win. You get plus 4.5 here on a Miami team that's playing very well at the moment. They've covered 3 of the last 4 games. They've won 4 games in a row. They were 20-point home favorites against Louisville, and they won by 8. That's not great, but they were home against Duke, laying 3, and they won by 22 points. They were catching 1.5 against Clemson, and they won by 4. They were laying 4 against Vatech, and they won by 9. So they lost at Pitt, who's playing very well right now in the ACC, but you got a team in Miami that's playing really hard. Great ATS. And yes, I know North Carolina just beat Clemson by 20 points, laying 7. But before that, they didn't cover over the previous 4 games. Laying 1.5 against Wake Forest, lost by 7. Catching 2.5 points against Duke, lost by 6. Laying 8.5 at home against Pittsburgh, lost by 1. And they were laying 4 against Syracuse, and they pushed. So a 0-3-1 mark over the last 4 games before the win over Clemson. I think it's too many points. I think it's too heavy. I think Carolina probably wins the game, but this is going to be a fun game in North Carolina. Big game in the ACC. I'm going to take the points. Miami plus 4.5 for 1.1 units and see if the Hurricanes can keep this game close. I would sprinkle on the money line as well. I don't hate a money line bet here on Miami potentially to go in there and win. Miami's got the number next to their name, so people are going to bet them. The pros are going to be on Carolina, I think, but you may get 5, you may get 5.5. I got 4.5 last night. Miami is 20-5 straight up, 11-4 in the ACC. I'm going to ride the streak here. 4 wins in a row, 7 wins over their last 10 games, 6-5 on the road, going up against, I know Carolina's 11-1 straight up at home. Let's get Carolina to win the game by 3. And let's get a 4.5 point cover here. Miami plus 4.5 for 1.1 units. All right. That's the only college basketball bet here. Miami plus 4.5. Under first period with Arizona. Under first period with Minnesota. Plus 140 and plus 110. Both those bets for a half a unit. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt every morning. The Daily Juice podcast being brought to you by BetMGM.